Hello everyone, good afternoon, G331979 here. Here you have it. Let me read this to you. They are among us, not desperate for housewives. Alright, this is basically kind of like a part two of black men are financially doing well. Here it is. Another important dynamic that the sex racial argument misses completely is the number of financially stable black men in our communities. We consistently hear about how well black women are doing compared to black men. And we hear how black female college students outnumber black college male students 2-1. Which, by the way, when somebody say that, that's a low ratio. Therefore, not too many black women go to college. So that should be a hint right there. But I digress. How the number of graduated and professional black males is even smaller, which that's false. And with all the attention on poor black men and the general consensus that there is a small number of employed and financially stable black men, you would not think black men are actually doing better financially than black women. But they are. There are more middle income and professional black men than black women. Well, actually, there are. Let me read this again, because they talk about women in general right here. There are more middle income and professional black men than women in the United States today, according to the census data. Let me read this again. There are more middle income and professional black men than women in the United States today, according to the census data. Yes, black men and there are more middle class black men and more professional or upper middle, if not white collar black men than any other ethnic group of women in the United States today. According to the census data, despite the idea of how badly black men are doing financially, there are still more black men out earning black women. For example, there are more black men who make between $32,000 a year and $55,000 a year, which is supposedly middle income, than there are black women, which is true. There are more black men who make between $50,000 and $60,000 a year, and more who make between $75,000 and $100,000 a year. In fact, when you get above $100,000 a year, the sex ratio and balance start to get even more drastic. Even cities with the devastating unemployment rates for black men, such as New York City, yes, or cities with the high rates of college-educated black women compared to black men still fare better than black women economically. In 2005, there were as many middle-income black men, those making between $35,000 a year and $65,000 a year, as middle-income black women in New York City, in New York City and Atlanta. In addition, there were more affluent black men, those making above $65,000 a year, than affluent black women in both cities. Wow. Did I say on my first video, black men are doing far better, even though we still got more hurdles to overcome? What was I? Damn, I lost my fucking place. Despite all the attention on how bad things are for black men and how much better things are for black women, today there are more middle class and financially stable black males than black women. What does this show? First, it shows how bad it is for black professional women. The reality is that no matter how much black women do in terms of education and career, they don't get the returns that black men do in careers and income. Been saying this for a long time, brothers. But everybody keep listening to that fucking rhetoric. It is not that there are not enough employed and financial variable black men for black women. It's that more black men are using their income for other things and on other women. That means black men are dating out and getting the fuck out. We talk so much about what black women can't find in terms of compatibility, but we rarely talk about what black men can't find in terms of compatibility. Middle income black men are variable. They are simply not choosing to be with a middle income or professional black woman. What does this mean is that with the middle income and professional black women, what does this mean? That there is a wide range of middle income and affluent men who travel to Brazil, from military men to factory workers to police officers. These are all different type of demographics of black men throughout the United States, by the way, people. To men who work for the state and federal government as civil servants. All different walk of life of black men, by the way. They are eligible and are going to Brazil. According to James, a black man who has lived in Brazil for the past 20 years, which I saw the movie, I forgot the name of that movie about a black man going to Brazil. But anyway, it's more likely the middle class and professional black men who will end up retiring to Brazil. These men are not like the desperate housewives. If and when they get divorced, they seek to take the advantage of a full spectrum of women. And what is particularly unusual for this group is that their ability to pull from both professional women and the so-called ghetto women. If they so choose, they can become the ultimate cake daddies in the community. Now here it is. Matter of fact, let me read this. Alright, the Latin Euro. Hedging their bets. If you go to the website Latin Euro, which is the last time I looked, had over 20,000 members all over whom post their pictures with their height, age, and hobbies. You will begin to understand the main criticism that men who travel overseas make about the sex ratio imbalance. In other words, black men make about the sexual imbalance by traveling abroad. The point is not that the number of black professional women are available. It is more a question of the quantity of women who are available. Here is what Phillips said. There is the same amount of sex happening in Oklahoma as in Rio de Janeiro. It's just sex. But with whom? Either you're going to have sex with a beautiful younger woman, or a big fat middle-aged woman, or an ugly older woman. I get played all day long, but it's usually from a woman 40 plus or 50. And if she's not fat, she's ugly. Got a point? He went on to describe a recent situation that put this dynamic in a greater context. He said that just recently a group of his boys invited him to a function where a lot of professional black women were expected to be, but that he decided not to go. When his friends came back, they chimed him on how he should have gone because there were some fine women at the event. His response was indecisive of his new attitude. I didn't go because I didn't like those odds, and there would be a 50 to 100 women who look like that. You can always find one or two dime pieces, but then I'm competing with 100 niggas for those two. In Brazil, I like those odds. There you can break up with one and always get another that looks just as good. He got a point. Excellent point. I know plenty of fellas that went to Brazil. I know plenty of fellas that actually went to certain parts of the Caribbean and they end up with some fine women. But I know plenty of fellas that went to Colombia. Either it's a drug war torn country and got beautiful women of all different shades. Same thing Argentina. Even Honduras. The list goes on. This issue that he and others tend to make is that although there are more professional black women than there are professional black men, supposedly, by occupation, at least, there is still competition for them. In addition, those who do look good act a certain way. Thomas, who spends much of his time in Rio, said, "One thing about Brazilian women is that in addition to being beautiful, they always smell good." That's true. They take like 5 showers a day and they wash their hair a lot. All of which to prevalent. Women in America, which is true, in the mainland where we at the United States, who are beautiful, have the hair of a queen looking for diamonds in the throne at their feet. You can find that same beauty in the streets of Brazil in any town. You can find them all over Rio. They are a dime in the dozen, and they don't act like you. They don't act like you have to throw diamonds at their feet. Brazil removes all competition for beautiful women because they are so plentiful. Men don't have to work to have access to the best looking women. That is the sex ratio that men who travel overseas want, which makes sense. The way the sex ratio works is that it creates a premium not just for the access, but the access to the so-called best of the best. And that is what Brazil supposedly provides and helps to create an idea around. The conclusion: big love or other options for black women. I was listening to the Gally King show on XM Radio one day, and when she when she had on Stephen A. Smith, a popular sports commentator, I was reminded of the most suspicious aspect of the current sex ratio imbalance. Constant with his public persona of being very open and direct with his ideas. Smith was equally candid about his ideas about his interactions with women. He talked about how open he was when women about his intentions, so that women didn't have any illusions about what he was willing to do or not to do. essentially he talked about being honest without accountability. Okay. There was a time when having privilege was the core of an ideal of responsibility within the black community. W.E.B. Du Bois, a famous notion of the talent tenth, or the talent 10, whatever, was probably elitist, but at its core, it had values that always been important, such as each one teach one. That don't work no more, people. Those with incredible resources have the incredible responsibilities. To whom much is given, much is required. Instead of using their power to exploit, black men should be using it to build, and build their community and build up their women. No. Here's where I gotta correct people. Black man, your main focus and responsibility is to create your own family, to create your own community, to build your own community. Your responsibility is not to build a existing Holocaust known as the current nigger community throughout the United States. That's not your responsibility. On top of that, number 4, because I already named the first 3, is self-preservation, and 5, self-determination. And 6, last but not least, comes down to being an individual. Nobody will owe you a goddamn thing. That is a feministic fucking agenda. That's what women want you to do, to nurture them. You're not a nurturer. You're a hunter and a builder first. Back to what I'm saying. Now that men can inherit a privileged status. No, why would you want to inherit a privileged status? You're supposed to earn your privilege, not inherit. There is really no conversation around what that should look like. Another reason why the sex ratio process is important is because it highlights how the sex premium is created. There is a sense that even in the States, there is still a lot of competition for beautiful women. No, it's not. Like the women here, I say about out of 110% women in the United States, a good 93% that are 5 generations deep and further back in the United States are overweight. You're wasting your fucking time. What Brazil does is make men more sensitive about what is available to them. No, it makes men aware, not sensitive, you idiot. So it is not enough to have a lot of black women available. In Brazil is predominantly by indigenous blacks and indigenous mongoloids and white European descent. There's a cocktail mix for any type of fucking flavor a guy fucking want, believe it or not. That's why I tell people travel. You learn a lot about history in the world, in today's world, just by traveling. They have to be the best of the best. Brazil shows that it is not about having options. It's about the quality of the options. Thank you. Now this is when the person got it right. It's about the quality of the options. Let me read this again. Brazil shows that it's not about having options. Oh, hold on, let me get back. Okay. Having a lot of black women available. They have to be the best of the best. Brazil shows that it is not about having options. It's about the quality of those options. One result, a sort of disdain for the average looking women develops. No shit. An idea that the average looking black woman don't know their place. It's not an idea, it's a fact. This is a perspective that Philip mentioned earlier. All this raises the issue. What are the options for black women? Booty calls? Friends with benefits? Yes. Something new? Yes. Being content and happy with themselves? Yeah, pretty much. There you go. I come out of college with an attitude that I didn't trust them hoes. It's probably mine. It's probably ruined many a good relationship. For 20 years, I operated under that mindset. So my interactions with women in college made me suspicious. And when I was faced with a situation of whether to cheat or not to cheat, I choose to cheat because it was better to do it than to have it done to me. Back in college, there are no good women. Plain and simple. I went to college, and I'll try to tell you, a college chick won't be faithful with you. If you believe that, you're an idiot. The second swift involves a change in the type of women they are exposed to. Dude, if I go to I could go to a white neighborhood or a white town, and also you got black folks living there, and also you got these ugly, busted, dusty looking, even the bitches with fucking prestigious careers, black women, they expect you to back them up. And a handsome dude like myself won't fall for that. A handsome dude should be with an attractive lady. An average looking dude should be with an average looking lady. A very good looking dude should be with a very good looking lady. And a busted, dusty, ugly bitch should be with a busted, dusty, ugly looking dude. Plain and fucking simple. Stop fucking with natural selection. But I digress. The second swift involves in changing the type of women that they are exposed to. A point further made by Morris. In college, you meet a different type of woman than the girl in high school. No fucking shit. You people are fucking dumb. You now have access to the upper crest of women and a different level of intellect. No shit. All the women I dated in college were valedictorians of their high school. Yay. That means he dated the best of the best. And usually, it's the very attractive women that are valedictorian. They were very smart, brilliant women, and it shaped the type of women I want to be with in my life. And it's the recognition that men first have to figure out how they will respond to intelligent, sharp women. Men have to figure out what Marcy describes the dilemma of college-educated women and college educated men with college-educated women. This goes on and on and on. If you want me to read, I continue to fucking read. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna read the rest of this shit. This is very entertaining. Okay, Sex 686 Advanced Seminar. Okay. If black American male students are not immediately aware of how college shapes their experience in terms of interaction with women, I don't know why everybody uses college as a form of interaction with women. That's the fucking problem. Then that perspective starts to swing radically by the time they are in graduate school. Marcy continues. Okay, in graduate school, the numbers become more pronounced, and I have only been to one graduate school, but I have a bunch of friends who love a couple of advanced degrees. I'm sorry, who have a couple of advanced degrees. That don't mean shit, bitch. You end up developing a complex. If a woman doesn't do everything I want, I just get another. That's called options, people. When you get to graduate school, you are on your way to being a professional. You are in another league. You are elite. All you have to do is wait 2 years and you go from college student to professional student to professional. Oh shit. For black women, you become their mantle man for their smart black man in graduate school who is going to make a lot of money. You've done everything the world says you should do, and you have everything open to you. For sisters, it becomes a bleaker. That's when they're just educated themselves out of a husband. Your women don't fucking get it. No man marries you for your fucking education. There's a consistent of 3 parts a man looks for. Long as she's intelligent enough, long as she knows how to act feminine, long as she practices good hygiene. We're not asking you to be super smart to go and join a professional field. I can tell you a lot of those damn degrees that you got, a lot of those degrees that people got today, guess what? Those job markets are closed. Most have been closed since 2005. And that was the second Bush administration term. So a lot of men, the reason why they make a fuck ton of money, they have to learn a trade. That's where all the money always been, learning a fucking trade. But I digress. For many black males, graduating school becomes the place where they have arrived. Men, I try to tell you, men build himself up for status and then proceed to have a career to build himself financially so he could build and produce a family with a suitable, attractive looking mate that meets within his attractive looking sex ratio. If his sex ratio is 90, along with all the attributes to it, and your sex ratio is 50, there is no compatibility. Right, for many black men, the graduate school becomes a place where they have arrived. It's from the perspective or preach that they begin to see how wide their options are. No shit. Not only can they float between ghetto and college and graduate school, they can also float between undergraduate and graduate school. The range of options become more readily available. In addition, the status that is gained to their position allows men to assure a level of elite status, not even graduated in the undergraduate school. No fucking shit. No fucking shit. And black North American women just don't get it. Hell, North American women in general just don't fucking get it. They chase after the wet dream that they could control a fucking dude, thinking that if they have the exact same degree as them, every guy go get them. No guy don't want to get you. Dude, there's a fuck ton of more educated white women than you. And guess what? Not everybody is going after you based on your education. And that's from the white woman complaining. Not everybody's going after you, black woman, based on your fucking education. You've been replaced. It is what it is, people. And yes, to my fellow brothers out there, black men, we are doing better. We are traveling abroad. Look at the conclusion to another conference on black males. Bitch, you ain't shit. Hoes are non-suitable, and under no circumstances shall you be seen in public, except under the covers of darkness. In other words, hoes are vampires. That's number 2. Number 3, no, it's not your vocabulary. You will do whatever the fuck we tell you to do. Black men don't talk like this. This shit goes on and on, but I'm not even gonna waste my time reading this bullshit. This is from a fucking woman. Half this article is from a fucking woman. It is what it is, black man. We doing better than them. Fuck them. Move the fuck on. This is G331979 here, and I'm out. Have a good one.